Hey everybody, I've got my nephew here.
Again,
Little
twice
Joe.
this week I'm here.
And, always great to have him in here. And Joe's buying a few things that are kind of pretty important,
Yes.
historical things. And I said to him, well, Joe, maybe you could trade us something that really has some real history to it and something that, is going to be very important that people, Bonamassa fans, are going to love. So
This is it. We've sold. We're very lucky. We were talking about this earlier. We're very lucky, and my fans have purchased over the last now decade, literally almost 10,000 Joe Bonamassa signature guitars.
Wow.
And in the spring of 2007, Gibson came to me, and they said, "We'd like to do a Les Paul. We'd like it to be a Goldtop because Goldtops are not really selling for us at the moment, and we're going to do it in the custom shop, and we may do a run. It could be as much as 300, but it could be as few as, quite frankly, one." So in the spring, I'm living here in California, and we were about to start writing a record called The Ballad of John Henry, and I wake up one morning and there's a knock at the door, and this guitar shows up, and it's the prototype, the one that I was supposed to, I needed to sign off, going, this was the aging, this is me with the ill-advised belt buckle, but I thought it was cool at the time.
So this is the prototype to every guitar that has come, that's
This was the
followed
first.
of...
If they didn't like it, or I didn't like it, or something happened, this would have been the only one.
Right.
So but when you're a kid and you see a Gibson Les Paul, and mind you, this is still a Les Paul model,
Right.
but when you're a kid and you see a Les Paul, and then something that you've idolized over the years shows up at your door and it says Bonamassa on the truss rod cover, it was a real special day. I remember this very, very vividly. And all this is my spec. The two mismatched knobs. These are Burstbucker period, whatever they were making in a 2 and a 3. The guard, it was all, I was trying to make like an early 57 with a black back.
And the mismatched knobs you said was for a reason, right?
For singing. Everyone's, why did you put two knobs on, two different style knobs? One, I think it looks kind of cool. Two is when you're singing, you're looking straight forward and you're looking at the audience, even behind the sunglasses. And a lot of times when you play, I'm a lead pickup dweller, but sometimes I switch to the front pickup, and what happens? It's not on. Well, then you look down. The idea behind the two knobs is you can feel the difference with the knobs with your hand while singing and saying and looking at the audience. So that's what, it was very practical, and I could feel the volumes and the tones, because I get a lot of the sound of the guitar just from by messing with the tones and everything. And there's some videos of me in the studio with it. When we did the Ballad of John Henry in particular, there's
Use this guitar.
this
on
is the
that
guitar.
track.
And by the way, Norm, this was, I've been very lucky in the last decade, and I bought some beautiful guitars from you. But in 2007, this was, and in a lot of ways still is, my pride and joy, because what it represents was this journey that a guy with a funny last name and a big chin who sings blues in 2007 could actually convince a company like Gibson to make a model. And there was no guarantees that we were going to sell one. They were very nervous because they normally would give this honor to people like Slash and people that are real names, not some dude.
Well, I think you've done all right since then, Joe.
Well, I've done okay.
I think
I'm not complaining, but
things have worked out.
It worked out. But this represented a risk on their part, and it represented a journey for me that even to that point where people were just starting to figure out my last name.
Let me ask you something. How often did you use that live too?
This was the main touring guitar for the next 2 or 3 years. And as they would do a different color, like they did them in blue. I played the blue one. They did a few in blue. They did a few in like 100 in sunburst. So I'd play the sunburst, and it was always very special and I didn't want anything to happen to it. So I probably played 200 shows on this, maybe a little bit more. And it was always in the rack. It was always in the rotation until we went to Australia for the first time, and I shipped another Les Paul in a case underneath the plane, and it came off the plane with a detached headstock.
Oh, nice.
So after that, I kind of stuck it in storage and just was like, this is, special to me, and I don't want anything to happen to it. So it's been played a lot. This is a
real wear.
That's real wear. The rest of the stuff it was kind of came slightly beat up. And
what's kind of cool too, just for sake of identification on this guitar, it says Proto JB. So this is the prototype. It's not number 001.
I have 001. My father has 002 because again it represents a journey for my family. And then Roy, my manager, has 003, and that's all I got. So I don't have. People have like hundreds of Joe B signature things laying around. You only get one or two, maybe three of these things, and that's all you really need. You don't need 10 of them.
There's only one prototype.
This is the only one prototype because this is the first. It's the first guitar that started the whole Joe Bonamassa line that we've branched off into 335s and Firebird ones, and Epiphone's done stuff, USA's done stuff.
Bonnabird.
We've done. Sorry about those.
I like them.
I like them too. And this guitar is again. It just is what it is. This was the one I had to sign off on, and then I called Pat Foley and Rick Gembar at the custom shop and said, guys, if it ends today, I'm as tickled pink, and I'm as honored as a guitar player could be. And to their credit, they said, no, we're going to do it, and we'll see how many we sold. And we sold all 300.
I think it worked out pretty good for them too. So.
It's been a great partnership with Gibson, and because it's not just one of those things. I always tell people, it's like, especially in the endorsement stuff, and NAMM is coming up next week, and it's important to realize you don't want to just play a guitar because you get it for free. You ask yourself the question, what would you use? You have, we're in a room with 2,000 guitars. Like, what would you use? And if you use it, stick with that, love it, and then the companies will come to you going, hey, we hear you're using our thing. Don't jump from company to company to go just because they put your name on a different looking guitar. It's like, I use the Les Paul. If Gibson told me to exit stage right tomorrow, I'd be like, I still use a Les Paul. It's what I use, and I wouldn't go to somebody else and go, hey, put my name on something just for the sake of it. So it's really important, and I was using Les Pauls before this was made, so, and use them after. So, and it hasn't been plugged in for at least 7 years. So these strings are nice and rough. I love big necks back then, man. It's like playing this for, like the old ones I play now don't have that big neck.
Yeah.
So it's like good enough.
And I would like to say something also too, Joe. I got to thank you for everything you've done for the Midnight Mission.
Yes.
I mean, you know how dear it is to me, and helping out the homeless. You're a good young man.
Thank you.
You were raised well. Your family's great, and I can't thank you enough. And we're going to go hand out toys next Christmas to the kids.
We're going to hand out the toys, and it would started a couple years ago. You asked me to play at the Midnight Mission, and just the meeting the folks from the organization, and like you were saying earlier, it takes 96 cents to serve a homeless person, to serve anybody a hot meal, and like tonight, we're hoping to hopefully get close to 30,000 meals,
That's right.
And if it takes me driving up to Camarillo and jamming with a bunch of my friends and world-class musicians to do that, how am I not the luckiest guy? So.
Well,
thanks for inviting me.
We're all pretty blessed, and for those guys that are sleeping out on the street, it's been raining here for the last couple weeks. Today is a beautiful day. I mean, imagine not sleeping in a warm bed, not, some of these folks, while it's raining, they have to try to find a roof of a building or something to hide under, or under a freeway overpass and
Right.
that kind of thing. So we're all very lucky, and, I'm just really pleased to have you on board with that, and, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me. And I don't give this up easily. So, apparently, people must be thinking, oh, he must be getting something nice. I am getting something very nice. And it's also adding to a collection that, one of these days, I hope to share it with everybody. And I post the pictures of it, but it's really, I'm
have some
honored to own
pretty
the
incredible
instrument.
stuff,
I have some nice stuff. And so I don't give this up lightly, but I do hope it finds a good home, and I do hope it's played more than I've played it in the last 4 or 5 years.
You
so.
put a lot of wear on it in the beginning, so
Oh, yeah.
that's a for real piece of memorabilia.
That's my signature. If you see it, I always whack them here, and then this is
Little belt buckle.
Yeah.
So that wasn't relicked by Tom Murphy or any of that stuff. That was relicked by Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens, how real, how old a guitar starts to look when you actually play it. They did some distressing before. I told them to make it look old, but when you start playing in the distressed ones, that's when it starts to look like legit. Get a little green here. So.
Well, this guitar will be for sale at Norm's Rare Guitars.
Call Norm or Mark, yeah.
That's right. And Joe, thank you again for the Midnight
Thanks.
Mission tonight.
No
It's going to be
problem.
wonderful. We got a fantastic event happening tonight. Going to raise a lot of money for the homeless, and it's going to be a ball.